Alrighty, welcome to the beginner level of the Hips Don't Lie routine. This routine has been designed to increase the mobility and stability of your hip muscles. So this exercise routine has 8 exercises split up into 4 supersets. So you can either perform each superset for about 2 to 3 sets with about 1 minute's rest between supersets before moving on to the next one, or perform the entire routine as a circuit, one exercise after the other, and then repeat the entire circuit 2 to 3 times. So you have either option, whichever works for you, and all the best with the routine. Cheers, mate. We're in this plank position on our hands and our knees, and we're extending our leg, creating tension through our glutes and our hamstring muscles. Now ensure that you keep a nice stable trunk when performing this exercise. We begin with a bent knee, and as we raise our leg off the floor, we straighten our leg out, focusing on the back of the leg. Now try to maintain a stable trunk and try not to extend your lower back too much. A little bit of extension is fine, but we want most of the focus on our glutes and our hamstrings, which are at the back of our legs. Now, if you wish to create a little bit more tension and advance this exercise slightly, then you can begin with the leg already in an extended straightened position and raise the leg straight up from here. This is going to place more muscular demand on our legs and our glute muscles, making this a more advanced variation of the exercise. So pick one of these 2 variations depending on your strength level. We're lying on our back with this exercise and we're flexing at our hips. Now, for the first variation of this exercise, we focus on leading with our knee. So we bring our knee off the floor so it is above our hip, and then we point our toes up towards the ceiling and we extend at our knee, straightening our leg up as high as we can possibly. We're focusing on squeezing our quadricep muscles in the front of our leg, and this is going to stretch out the hamstring muscles which are in the back of our leg. We then bend at the knee again, creating this 90-degree angle on the way down, and then we slowly lower the leg back down to the floor, focusing on nice, slow, controlled movements and not forcing the range of motion, only going as far as we can control correctly with our hips and our leg muscles. Now, if we want to advance this exercise, we perform the entire movement with a straight leg. So right from the beginning of this movement, we point our toes towards our body. This is going to create tension right through the front of our leg to support this movement, and we bring our entire leg up, keeping it straight, extended the entire time, flexing all of the muscles through the front of our leg, our quadriceps and our calf muscles. They should all be working in unison, and we slowly return the leg back to the starting position, still maintaining this tension through the muscles. So pick one out of these 2 variations, either with a bent knee into a straight leg, or with a straight leg the entire time and only going as far as you can control. We begin in the seated position, slightly leaning back, using our hands to support our body. We have our knees to the ceiling and feet flat on the floor. Now we are rotating at the hip, bringing one knee down towards the opposite foot, and then bringing it back to starting position and repeating on the opposite leg. Now you are to bring your knee down as close as you can to the floor with complete control and no discomfort. You should feel some feedback in the hip muscles as they work to rotate the leg, but the movement should not feel forced at all. So if at this stage you cannot bring the knee all the way down to the floor, do not worry. Over time the mobility in the hip will increase and you'll be able to bring it down further with complete control. And to increase difficulty of the movement while also improving mobility further, simply bring your hands closer to your body and your torso more upright.
Find a comfortable position on the floor with your hand on your head to support your neck. Now from here we're performing what is called hip abduction by bringing that top leg up towards the ceiling in a slow and controlled manner. Perform a slight pause at the top of the movement to really engage the hip muscles and generate good deep feedback in that area of the body. Slowly lower the leg back down to the floor and repeat this process, making sure everything feels smooth and controlled, and you are only ever lifting your foot as high as you can comfortably control, focusing on increasing that range of motion over time as your body adapts.
Lying down in this face-up position, place your heels through the straps of the TRX suspension trainer and place your hands on the ground for support. Now from here we're performing a glute bridge, so we have a slight bend in the knees to activate through the hamstring muscles, and then we drive our hips up to the sky as high as we can, squeezing our glute muscles, driving those hips up. And if you have the strength to support your lower back, then you can extend through the lower back slightly, which means you are bending the lower back to increase the range of motion. Only do so if you can fully control that range of motion. Otherwise, try to keep your back straight and just focus on the hips.
So with this exercise, we're combining a squat with some single leg stability. So find a comfortable place on the floor, bring your feet roughly about hip width apart, but the most important thing is to find a foot width that feels comfortable for you. Squat down as far as you can with full control, keep your hands out in front of your body as a form of counterbalance, and then as you return to the top position out of the squat, you bring one foot off the floor, balancing on one leg temporarily, plant your foot back on the floor, return to the squat position, and then repeat that single leg balance on the opposite leg, alternating legs every repetition, trying to establish a slight pause at the top of the position when you are balancing on one leg, engaging through your hip muscles and focusing on stability and control the entire time. As you can see, I'm creating a nice tall spine with one hand on my belly button, tucking the belly button in, the other hand on my lower back to make sure the spine is nice and tall. Now from here, I'm slowly leaning forward. With the front leg, we're applying some light pressure to stretch the back of that calf muscle. Now with the back leg that is extended behind the body, we have the top of the foot down to the floor, and this is going to generate a stretch through the front of the hip and also through the quadricep muscle, which is in our upper thigh. So we are generating a stretch on both legs in two different areas. Our torso is nice and tall and we're in a comfortable position. Now you can feel free to change the distance in which both legs are apart from each other to generate a different kind of stretch. So as you can see, I just transitioned and extended the distance from the legs apart. So now my front leg, the knee is above the ankle as opposed to the toes. So now the primary focus here is the stretch on the back leg. So have a play around with it and search your body for tight areas, and you want to place the attention on the areas that need stretching the most. So this is going to differ from person to person, so over time learn your body and really search out which areas need the most attention. Now from this front angle you can see the position of the knee is directly going straight through the center of the front foot, keeping that nice foot to knee to hip alignment, keeping the knees safe and stretching the right areas. So like I said, play around with the distance in which the feet are apart to change which area is getting stretched. This is all a case of learning your body and just feeling what needs the most attention. In this hand and knee plank position, we extend one leg out to the side of our body. Now our main focus here is to stretch the inner thigh of that straightened leg. So we're down on our elbows now to increase the stretch. So keeping the other leg bent to support this movement, and you can have a play around with the distance in which the legs are away from the body to stretch different areas of the leg. Just like the other exercises, there is no right or wrong. Now I am transitioning onto my hands to extend the other leg further away from the body, just to increase the stretch once again. So now I'm going to show you from another angle, and I'm going to show you how you can sit back on your leg to change the stretch once again. So with this variation, I have my extended leg out like normal, but the other leg I'm actually sitting on my heel. So this is going to transition the attention further to the back of the leg, bringing in more hamstrings and glutes. Like I said, there is no right or wrong answer. You can try to rock back and forth to change the tension. I'm now back on my hands so I can extend the legs further away from each other. So have a play around with these different positions, find the areas that need the most stretching, and spend anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute for the first time on each leg.